Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody who knows me knows the fact that I am a Victorianist. That is, I am interested in writers like Charles Dickens, Frederick Marryat, Wilkie Collins, and even Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. But this is a known fact in the world of English literature that most of the writers that were born after William Shakespeare were hugely influenced by this writer. Captain Marryat is one of the writers that I am interested in. He was a conservative writer in the 19th century. And in a letter to one of his family members, he says that Shakespeare is his lord, Shakespeare a lord, in his own quotation. So this is a known fact that most of the writers were influenced by William Shakespeare. He is the lord of English literature. He is the sparkler of Albion. He is the inspirer of English literature. So he's the writer that many people have been inspired by. Consequently, today I have decided to find one of his sonnets and read it to you. This is the first sonnet by William Shakespeare, and he seems to have written it as a contribution to his friend, because his friend was not married, and he wants to encourage his friend to marry as soon as possible, to get married as soon as possible, to get wedded as soon as possible. And so he wrote this poem to say to his friend that life is short and he should make haste and continue his generation. So this is the kind of sonnet that should be interpreted in such a way. It is not a poem to a beloved, to a female beloved, as some people have mistakenly referred to. This is a poem, this is a sonnet, better to be said, to encourage his friend to get wedded as soon as possible. So I go and read Sonnet 1, or Sonnet the First. It can have many appellations. So here he says, from fairest creatures we desire increase, that thereby beauty's rose might never die. But as the riper should by time decease, his tender air might bear his memory. But thou, contracted to thy own bright eyes, feeds thy light's flame with some substantial fuel, making a famine where abundance lies, thyself, thy foe, to thy sweet self be too cruel. Thou that art now the world's fresh ornament, and only herald to the gaudy spring, within thine own but bearest thy content, and tender churl makest waste in niggarding. Pity the world, or else this glutton be, to eat the world's dew by the grave and thee. So this is a poem that can contribute to every time. As Ben Jonson says, triumph my Britain. Ben Jonson, when he understands that his rival and his friend, William Shakespeare, is dead, he writes this poem. He says, triumph my Britain, thou hast one to show, to whom all scenes of Europe homage owe. He was not of an age, but for all time. This is something that Ben Jonson, one of the other poets that lived in Shakespearean era, wrote of William Shakespeare. So this is a poem that is absolutely relevant to every time. That is one of the things that makes Shakespeare great. He can be read at every time, at every century, at every era, at every age. This is the poem that can be said to the people who are not married. So Shakespeare tries to encourage them to get wedded, get married, and continue their generation. Thank you very much for listening to me. I am Sayyid Ali Khan Ulari, and I recorded this video at the Department of English at Massey University. Have a good night from New Zealand. Goodbye.